All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing another beer from the Beer Tree Brew Company, and they're out of Port Crane, New York, and this is their Time to Pretend. So they're calling this a New England-style Double IPA that comes in at 8.3% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is just over 1 month old. So I want to give a shout out to a good friend of mine and a fellow beer tuber, Kyle, over at No Hype Beer Reviews, because the day before I'm reviewing this beer, actually Kyle reviewed it, and that's because I left a can at the 2019 East Coast Beer Tuber Palooza for Kyle. Of course, that shindig was hosted by Matt over at Massive Beer Reviews, and we were joined by the guys over at Nerd Sense, Sean and Mike. But I left one behind for Kyle because I was like, hey, do you want anything from Beer Tree? They just released a double pineapple creamsicle. So he was like, yeah, hook him up with a 4-pack. I was like, oh, I'll throw you a can of this. He was like, cool. I saw him review it yesterday, and he basically was kind of confused about like the tasting notes. He was like, I don't think they're using Mosaic or Citra or Galaxy or anything like that. And sure enough, they're not. They're using Amarillo in the Whirlpool, and then they're double dry hopping this one with Amarillo, Rakau, and Belma hops. And he was getting like fleshy, like melon and stuff like that, which I usually get with Belma. So it was cool to see him not know what the hops were, but kind of picking up on the hop characteristics of the hops used in the beer. I also sent this to a good friend of mine, a viewer of the channel, Jeff, aka No Jinx. And Jeff actually drank it yesterday as well and posted his Untappd check-in because he saw Kyle review it, and he was like, man, Joe sent me one of these and I'm gonna drink it as well. And Jeff liked this, I believe. I mean, Kyle doesn't, pretty much Kyle does not rate, but Jeff gave it a 4.5 out of 5 on Untappd. I don't think Kyle would have gave it that high. He liked it, but it wasn't like one of his favorite beers from Beer Tree. But they both enjoyed it. That's all that matters. So now I get a chance to try it. So yeah, I'm quite pumped up. Hashtag proper glassware here, and we're going to pour it in. So their double pineapple creamsicle, which I reviewed recently, I gave it a 5 out of 5. One of the best beers I had this year. Just absolutely fantastic beer. The name translates into what you're drinking. You can't ask for anything more. At least I couldn't. So we'll see what this one has to offer. So yeah, that pours out this really like milky orange honey, more of like an orange yellow color. About a finger and a half of a bright white, fluffy, creamy looking head. That plays the role of a New England-style double IPA, if I do say so myself. Let's get a nose. So what I'm getting is more of like a stone fruit, like a mango apricot kind of thing. And then I'm getting like white grapes, white wine. Is that the Rakau? Maybe. Not really getting that like that fleshy, the fleshy melon that kind of Kyle was talking about. Yeah, it's more like white grape, white wine, the mango and the apricot, maybe a little bit of passion fruit. It definitely doesn't smell like, to me, that this is made with Mosaic or Citra, or maybe Galaxy. I could be fooled. Galaxy with that little crushed pineapple. Touch of crushed pineapple, but more of passion fruit. Has a little like bubblegum, little bubblegum note to it. Yeah, definitely a little bubblegum. Kind of reminds me of like a treehouse beer. Like kind of like a juicy fruit, like the bubblegum juicy fruit. That's what I'm kind of getting in the nose. It smells really juicy to me, but it's not like your typical juice, right? This is a complex juice, so to speak. It smells really good though. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. A juicy fruit carries over. Body and mouthfeel on this are killer. Jesus. Body, higher side of medium body, 8.3%. Yep. Mouthfeel, much like that double pineapple creamsicle where they're using no lactose, this has such a soft, smooth, creamy component to it. And while it's carbonated, it's a little bit undercarbed, and I think that was kind of on purpose to just enhance the smoothness and the creaminess to the mouthfeel. This is quite juicy on the palate. Almost like you kind of bit into like for me, like a stone fruit or like a tropical fruit, and you just get the initial reaction of how juicy the fruit can be. On the palate though, definitely getting melon, and I'm getting more of like a honeydew. With Belma, a lot of times I would get watermelon. More often than not, when I do get melons nowadays, it's more like a honeydew cantaloupe, and this is more like a sweeter honeydew, but closer to the white part of the honeydew, like closer to the rind. Mango and apricot are still here. Big juicy vibes of this one. Finishes slightly dry, but more to the residual sweetness side of things. Really no bitterness to speak of. So stylistically, I think they've done a pretty good job. Yeah, fleshy honeydew melon, mango, apricot, little bit of passion fruit, little bit of crushed pineapple. A pretty sweet beer overall, very juicy, quite good. I'm enjoying this. It's pretty damn tasty. I think flavor-wise for me, this is probably around a higher 4, like a 4.05, 4.1. But that mouthfeel is top-notch. That's like upper echelon. It's like, a tree house and other half level for me. So I'm going to give Time to Pretend from Beer Tree, I'm going to give it a low 4.25 out of 5. I'm going to go 4.15 out of 5. I think it just gets right into the lower side of 4.25. It's a good beer. I don't like it as much as Jeff, but I think I like it probably just as much as Kyle. I like the uniqueness of this one. I like anytime I get like a fleshy fruit, whether it's like a fleshy mango or papaya or a melon, I do enjoy that because it's a rarity for me to pick up on that. And I think with this one, I like that the melon is kind of the prominent character in the taste. I like that this is quite juicy. That bubble gum character I was getting in the nose kind of translated a little bit. It's an underlying overall characteristic to the beer. But for this one, this is very juicy, very hop forward, a lot of fruit character to this one. And yeah, it's pretty tasty. So 4.15 out of 5 for Time to Pretend from Beer Tree. Really good beer. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Price on this one was $18 a 4-pack, so $4.50 a can. Appropriate for an 8.3% New England-style Double IPA with the whole double dry hop craziness going on. And availability, this is not, as far as I know, not brewery only, but you can pick them up at the brewery, most of their stuff when it's released, and a lot of their beers do get distribution, as far as I know, into Rochester, New York. So you're talking a couple hours away from Binghamton. They probably get distribution up to Syracuse, I'd imagine, and probably Sam the Beer Man in Binghamton, New York, probably carries them in other local bottle shops and whatnot. So if you don't live too far from Port Crane, which is just outside of Binghamton, then you should be able to pick this up if you live relatively close to there, whether it's at the brewery or a local bottle shop or whatever. Beer Tree, of the beers I've had, they do a pretty damn good job. This is another damn good one for me. So yeah, 8.3%. I really can't tell. This is drinks like 6.5. Yeah, 6.5, 7. So like a couple percentage points, almost a couple percentage points lower. Yeah, they did a great job with this one. So 4.15 out of 5. That was Time to Pretend. Beer Tree Brew Company. And I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review. To the next one. Cheers.